This first video covers the most important part of the entire course, but we'll save it for last, so stay tuned. First, we're going to take a look at the interface of the editor. We'll walk through all of the panels and menus so you know exactly where to find the features and the settings in the Pro editor, and more importantly, what all of these settings do. We're going to cover a lot of different topics in this video, which are very important to understand the possibilities of Maglr and where you can find all of the available features. We're going to go places and eventually build this page, but in order to do that, we need to understand the basics first. Let's take a look at the editor. The first thing we notice is the blank canvas in the middle of our screen. This is where you can place elements to build your designs. There are also some red bars on the side which are marking our safe zone, and we'll cover that in the next chapter of this course. Moving on to the panel on the left, which allows us to add new elements to our canvas. Simply drag them onto the canvas and give them a place. Anywhere is fine. I'll drag in a heading now and position it here. I know it's not centered nicely following designer etiquettes, but I'll fix it in a minute or two. We can see the different scenes on this page, which you can use to split up your pages into different sections. In the Scenes panel, you can also change the behavior of these scenes, such as the order or the transition between them. The Pages tab allows you to switch between the different pages of your project or change their settings. And by default, we're always building for desktop on your Maglr pages. So after finishing desktop, you can find the switch to mobile on the left and start optimizing for smaller screens. All the way on the bottom left, you can find two buttons, Replace and Timeline. Replace allows you to set up personalizable elements. So when sending your publications to a specific person, for example, you can replace a generic "Hi there" with their first names. We'll dive further into that module in the advanced part of this course. The timeline's used to further define the timing of your animations. We won't be needing that until the animations chapter of this course though, so let's click the button to hide it for now. At the top left, you can find the M button, which hides some very useful settings like page backups, importing from other pages, or tools like Figma or Sketch, setting up style collections, and recent updates. Next to the M, we'll find the buttons to save or preview our page or to publish the entire project. On the right, you can also find zoom options, and next to that, we find the feature that helps us align our heading properly. So let's select the heading and align it to the center of our page. There we go, perfect. And that brings us to the panel on the right, in which we'll find most of the settings and features that alter the elements on our canvas. First, in the General tab, you'll find the scene type and the way it behaves. You can see that my scene is set to be displayed full screen and the behavior is set to original fit. We'll explain what that means in the next chapter of this course. Here, you can also further define the dimensions of the scene and its safe zone, as well as enabling helpful grids, guidelines, and alignment options to help you further optimize your designs. The Media panel contains all of the media for your current projects. Or you can use the drop-down menu to use media that you had already uploaded to other projects. You can drag media from this panel directly to the canvas. I'll drag in an image now. The Layers panel holds all of the elements you place on the canvas. Notice how the image is placed on top of my heading, meaning that we can't see it now. If I change the order of the heading to be placed above the image, you can now see how the heading is showing again on my canvas. You can also group multiple elements using the available shortcuts, which will bring more options into play. And we'll talk about that in the Groups and Layers part of this course. Then, finally, the Elements panel. Maybe the most important one, as this holds all of the available settings for your selected elements. The first tab shows the general settings, which can be different depending on the type of element you have selected. So, with my heading selected, I can change the font, I can change the color, I can change the size. Let's set it to Roboto and black and set the size to 72 to make it more readable on top of the image. The second tab is used to animate your elements to, for instance, make them come into view in a way that's a little less direct. The next tab shows both effects and hover effects that you can apply to the elements. Hover effects are specifically useful for when you're using clickable elements, as you can make them change color to indicate that they are, in fact, clickable. However, effects alone don't make the element clickable yet. And that's where the fourth tab, or the interactions tab, comes into play. Here, I can set up all types of hover and click interactions for the element to perform when a viewer interacts with it. I can control, enable, or disable other elements, navigate to another page, download files, just to name a few. And finally, we find the accessibility tab. This is where we can optimize the selected element for both SEO and WCAG accessibility, like setting an H tag for my heading, or you can open the accessibility editor from here to optimize the other elements on the page as well. Okay, so now for the most important part. The moment you've all been waiting for, something so important it's vital for your further progress of this course.
Just get on with it.
Okay, here we go. How to pronounce Maglr.
Is that it?
What? It's important.
You've already said it just now.
I did, didn't I? Talk about killing suspense. It's pronounced Maglr with an L, not an I. So that wraps up the first part of this course. We covered the most important parts, such as how to pronounce Maglr, but we also explored the interface. We covered the canvas itself, which holds all of the elements in your design. And the panel on the left lets us add new elements and switch between different sections, pages, and screen orientations. Got 'em. The panel at the top shows our save, preview, and publish options, as well as an end button under which some more useful settings are hidden. The panel on the right allows us to further alter our canvas size and the elements on our canvas with many different settings. So how did I do for this first course?
Little long, but it was okay.
Yeah, well, this had lots of important info.
Yeah, it's a big tool.
Next parts are going to be even more fun though. So let's get on to the next part of this course, where we'll cover the different page types and the safe zone.